Hey there. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day, as they say. I guess that means we're just kind of getting over the hump of the week or something, I guess. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so I hope you all are having a good day so far. Mine was pretty decent. It was once again a really beautiful day. I didn't think it was going to be because this morning it actually started raining and I thought, oh no. But it was very short lived and became very beautiful after that. So it was wonderful. And I did go out on my usual little errands and no big deal. um, but today was bizarre. I had several times today where I suddenly had this like memory pop up in my head, but it was also sort of a deja vu kind of a thing. And just random stuff that would come up in my mind from like years ago. And I know that probably does not even make any sense, but I really do not know how to describe what it was like because I've had this happen to me before, but I've never really known how do you describe this because it's similar to deja vu, but it's not exactly. Um, just odd. It was like I had suddenly out of nowhere and for no apparent reason, because I don't recall anything that was happening or anything I was listening to that would have sparked this memory in my mind. But I had this memory of when I was a kid riding my bike on this sidewalk on this main road that was near my neighborhood growing up. And I could like, I felt myself back on the bike and riding down that sidewalk and, kind of jumping over stuff and, just doing typical kid type things that you do, on a bicycle. But I was on this main road, and I remember it was called Milton Road. Uh, and I don't know why that memory came up in my mind, but it was like I was transported back there. So it was not just a memory. It was like in that moment, it was as if I actually was there doing it again. And this that came up in my mind was not when I was out on my bike or anything. I mean, so it wasn't like I was riding down the street and suddenly I had that memory come up in my mind or whatever because I was riding my bike. This was while I was here at home just doing stuff that had nothing to do with anything. But yet, I mean, I was just transported back into that time, which was in the 70s. That was definitely in the 70s because the bike that I was on, I remember that bike very well. I loved that bike. Oh, man. It was originally my sister's bike. And then I guess I kind of just sort of inherited it after she outgrew it or quit riding it or something. Or maybe we shared it. I don't know. But it was this awesome, like, the color of it was kind of this bluish green color, or maybe more like a greenish blue because it was more blue, I think, than green, but it had a little green to it. And it was kind of sparkly looking. And it was, I think it was like a Huffy, I think, what do you call those? I can't think of the name of it now. I've looked it up before because I was curious, but it's been a long time since I looked it up. So I can't really remember, but it had a banana seat. And it had one of those, like, on the back of the seat, it had kind of like a little upside down U that, like a little handle or something, so that I think, if somebody was riding on the seat with you, since it was a long banana seat, maybe that was to hold on to or something, if you were riding on it. Cool bike, man. It had these awesome handlebars that went like this. And oh man, I love that bike so much. It was so much fun to ride. But I got to ride it today because I swear that was just, it was very brief, but it was just so cool because, I mean, I was just riding down that road for a brief moment today, just like it happened way back when. And I'm not even sure why I was riding on that road. I know I did because I remember doing it, but I'm not sure why I was on that road because I was not allowed to go that way when I was a kid. I was not allowed on that road. So I don't know why I was on it. I must have been doing something I shouldn't have because I don't recall ever being allowed to go on that street because it was a main road with a lot of traffic. I mean, it was a neighborhood, but it was like one of those, 2-lane roads that takes you to other main places, so it wasn't like just some back neighborhood street or whatever. This was like a main road. But that was just really bizarre. And then there was another one today that kind of popped up in my mind that was similar to that, where it was like in the moment, I was there in the experience again. So it's just really wild. I mean, it's like I've had that happen to me many times throughout the years. And a lot of times it's always been childhood stuff that really seems very real when it happens. Not so much when I was older. I mean, there's been a few times where I've had like these memories, from like early 20s or something, where it was like I kind of for a brief moment was back at a nightclub or something, that I'd gone to. But nothing quite like this today, because that was just bizarre. Because, I mean, even though it was brief, it was long enough for me to feel myself riding that bike down that sidewalk. Because I didn't ride it in the street. I rode it on the sidewalk. Even though technically I don't think you're really supposed to do that. I think you're supposed to ride in the street. Being that I was a kid, I kind of stuck to the sidewalks. Unless I was like in the neighborhood or whatever, but that was just really weird. And I mean, have you ever had deja vu like that, or had like these moments in time where you're transported back? A lot of times it'll be, things will trigger that, like a smell or a certain sound or something. You'll hear a song or whatever it is, and you'll like briefly be transported back to some moment in time where that song was playing or that smell was around or whatever. So that's happened to me many times, but I don't recall ever having a memory like this one where I was physically doing something and felt myself doing it, which was really cool because I mean, I'm serious. I loved that bike, and I wish that I could afford to buy an adult size of that bike, because I know they've made them. I cannot remember now what it's called. It's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to have to look it up, I think, because God, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. It's one of those things where it's like it's right there, but I can't quite see it. But I remember quite a few years ago actually looking up that bike, because I was like, what was that bike that I had that I loved? And I'm pretty sure, a Huffy Stingray. I think that's what it was called, a Huffy Stingray. Awesome. If that's it, I'm not sure, but I think that's what it is. But I remember several years ago, I looked it up, and they do make adult size versions of that. But oh my Lord, I can't even remember now how expensive it was, but it was like really, really expensive to get one of those bikes. And I thought, oh God, I'll never be able to afford one of those. But man, I would love to have one, because they are fun bikes to ride. They were so much fun. I remember I used to do wheelies on that thing. I'd never do that now, but I've only recently gotten to where I can stand up and pedal, because I used to do that all the time when I was a kid too. You'd stand up and pedal, so that you could really get going fast and stuff. And it's only been very recently that I actually did that one day, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I just started to pedal, and I was standing up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it. Because every time I was trying to do that before, I could not do it. I don't know why I couldn't, but I just could not get my legs to do that standing up. Sitting down, I'm fine, but standing up just was not something I was able to really do. But I have been lately, and not like a lot, but enough to where I was like, hey man, I'm doing it. It's like, wow, I'm actually standing up to pedal. But yeah, that I'm telling you, when you had one of those bikes when you were in your, you know, younger years, when you were a kid, those things were just fantastic to ride. They were just so much fun. They kind of looked like a bicycle version of a motorcycle or something because of those handlebars and that banana seat, and just the style of it kind of had that look to it, which is ironic considering I am absolutely terrified of motorcycles and scooters. I mean, as far as like riding one, no, thank you. I've tried, I've tried to ride on one of these things. No, 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 no. Heart attack. I swear. I'm just like, I thought I'd be able to ride a scooter. I really did. And there was a brief time when I was at the other place a few years back that we had a scooter and I attempted to ride it. And I did. I actually rode into the far end of town a couple of times on this thing, but I was white knuckling it the whole entire time, and I was going so slow that it wanted to shut off because I could not bring myself to pick up any speed. I was so scared. As soon as I went like this and it jerked, I was just like, no, 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 can't do it, can't do it. I was terrified. And I was like riding way over on the side of the road, because I didn't want to be out in traffic or anything. I was so scared. And I cannot ride with someone. I've tried that too, and it just will not work. Give me a bicycle any day of the week. Let me pedal. And it has to be a single speed. I tried doing the geared bikes. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I really love the way it feels when you are on a single speed bike and you're going to go as fast as your legs are going to pedal. And that's just the way it is. It's like if you don't pedal fast, you're not going to go really fast. And you don't have those gears that are designed to make you go faster without putting in all that extra effort. But I don't like them. I really don't. I tried one because I had never actually learned how to ride a geared bike before, and I had one when I was a kid. I remember it was like the very first bike that I was given once I was big enough to actually ride like a regular bike that wasn't my sister's bike or whatever, that Stingray or whatever it was called. It was my first bike that was bought for me, and it was this hideous color. My dad got it for me. I don't know why on earth. It must have been the cheapest bike he could find or something. It was this like baby poo brown color or something. I mean, it was like this beige kind of bleh. It just was nasty looking. It was so ugly. And it had 3 speeds on it. And I remember I was trying to learn how to use those speeds, and I could not figure it out. I just could not figure out the gear thing. And so I ended up just always riding in like first gear. I never changed it because I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, I was a kid, and it really was just kind of over my head. So I never learned how to ride one like that until I was here. And then after Um, I had a bike. I'm trying to remember how it worked out. Yeah, the bike that I had originally bought here when I first moved to this town and finally decided, okay, I'm going to buy myself a bike. There was only like one place in town that had just this very small selection of bikes. And they were all 24-inch bikes. They were all single speed, which that was fine. But it's too small for me. I have really long legs and I needed a 26-inch, but they didn't have any. All they had were 24. Well, I really wanted a bike. And this was before I knew about Lazada, because had I known about Lazada at that time, I would have ordered one from them and gotten one that was more appropriate for me. But anyway, I started out with this 24-inch bike, and they only had 3 colors. They had black, this neon green, and pink. And that pink bike is why you see all this pink, 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 pink everywhere. That's why I'm like obsessed with pink, was all because of this dang bike. Because I'm serious. I was not a big fan of pink at that time. And I actually was, when I went to go get a bike, I wanted a blue one. I really wanted a blue bike. If this starts shaking, it's because Poppy's running around again. I wanted a blue bike, but they didn't have one. So I thought, well, out of these 3 choices, the pink one is the prettiest, so I'll go with the pink. Well, I loved the bike, and it was an LA Gear or something. I forget what it's called. LA Gear bikes or something. Anyway, I mean, it was a decent bike, but it was just too damn small. I mean, I swear, I was out riding it and I was enjoying it, but my knees would kill me. And I even ordered a seat post extension, you know, so I could raise the seat up higher, because the post that comes with it, you know, the seat is very short, so you can only raise it so high, and even as high as you're allowed to raise it without it being dangerous, because there's like a mark on there that tells you, you know, do not raise it higher than this. Well, even as high as I could raise it, it was just still way too short, and I was like, I cannot do this. So I ordered that seat extension thing, and even that was not enough. And I raised up the handlebars. I did everything I could. And after a while, I was like, I am just in too much pain. I'm killing my knees trying to ride this bike because it is just too small. And so I ended up, the person I was with decided they would order me a bike that I was paying for. I was paying for it, but they ordered it for me to surprise me. And it was like this 26-speed mountain bike type thing. It was blue. It was a pretty blue, but 26 speeds. And it was this men's bike. And I was just like, oh God, okay. So yeah, I was not able to figure out how to ride that damn thing. I tried learning. I did. I even had at the time I had a YouTube channel for a little while, Beaches, Bikes, Coffee, and Cats. and I was making videos, you know, out on the bike and different things. And I did a video about this bike, you know, like a kind of a review video. And I was just kind of like, well, it's like, I mean, it was a pretty color and all, but it just was not me. The bike was totally not me. The style was all wrong, the gears, all that stuff. And then I ended up, because I was just like, I cannot ride this bike. I hate this bike. I don't want it. So I put it up for sale, and I ended up getting another bike. I mean, luckily there was somebody that wanted to buy it, because I mean, it was a nice bike for the right person, just not me. So I ended up getting this other bike that still had damn gears. It was a 7-speed. And it was pink, and it was more my style. It was like a city bike, you know, similar to what I have now, but it had 7 speeds. I didn't like it either. I just was like, I mean, I liked it better than the mountain bike thing, but I was just like, I can't do this gear thing. I tried it again because I thought, well, you know, since this is an actual women's bike, maybe it will be better for me, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I was like, no, that's not going to work either. And then that's when I ended up eventually ordering a bike like what I have out there, exactly like this one. This is my second one. That's I've bought two of this bike because the original one I had I sold to my friend Jackie because I thought I was moving back to America. So I had sold it to her and taken parts off that she didn't want, and you know, because I wanted to take some stuff with me. So I took like the seat, because I had the seat that came with it was all wrong for me too. So I had ordered myself a special seat that was more appropriate for me. All this, and anyway, after selling it to her and then deciding to stay here, I thought I want that bike again. And I was fortunate that they actually still had it, because a lot of times here it's like, if you see something you like, even if it's on Lazada, you may not see it again. I mean, you know, it's like if they sell out of it, they may not get it again, or it could be years before they get any more. So I was fortunate that they still had this particular bike because I love it so much. And I'm so thrilled to have it, y'all. I'm telling you, I love it. I mean, and it's a cheap bike. You know, if somebody that is really into bikes and cycling and stuff, you know, that really knows about good quality bikes and all that stuff, if they were to see it, they would just be like, oh my God. They would think this is horrible, because I mean, it is. It's a cheap bike, but I love it. I love it, and I love every day that I get to go out and ride it, even if it is just up to get ice or whatever, you know, just little short trips. I don't care. Absolutely love it. I enjoy it so much. And I'm always looking to see, do they still have it? And the last couple of times I looked, because I thought, you know, just in case, you know, something were to happen with this one that I needed to replace it, are they still selling those? And the last couple of times I checked, they were sold out of this particular one. They had other colors, but it's like, if I were to get another one, I'd still want this same color. They do have one, though, that I like. It's the same style. Everything's the same. It's just the color's different. And it's like this kind of, I guess maybe like a sherbet orange, like an orange sherbet type color or something. Kind of hard to explain, because it's like, if it depends on what monitor you're looking at. If I'm looking at it on my tablet, it looks kind of like a sherbet orange. If I look at it on the laptop, it doesn't look quite as orange. And I like that one too, actually. It's a really pretty color. But what I don't like is that the mud guards and stuff, you know, because it has mud guards on it, are black. And I like the white. That's what I love about this bike, is it's pink and white. I mean, yeah, it's got some black. It's got like black tires, and, you know, there are some aspects of black on it, but I just like the, you know, the pink and white look. And with the orange and black, it looks too Halloween or something. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I suppose you could always repaint the black parts white or something, or some other color. But anyway, I have actually talked now for over 24 minutes, y'all. I don't usually talk this long. I ramble on for a while, but I don't usually go on this long on my videos. But when I start talking about bicycles, I just like this, I can't shut up, because I love it, y'all. I swear. And it's such a great feeling to be able to still ride a bike, because there were many, many years that I didn't. And I really did not know until I got back on a bike living here how much fun it is and how much I enjoy it. And I've said it in other videos before, but if you're somebody who ever used to love to ride a bike, but you haven't in years, but you still think that you could, give it a try. Oh man, I'm telling you, it is just fabulous. It is so much fun. And especially if you used to love it when you were a kid, but you just haven't tried it in a long time, give it a try sometime. And who knows, you might find that you absolutely love it, as an adult, and would want to maybe get one and, try it out for a little while. And it's great exercise. It is. I enjoy it. But anyway, I know I'm just rambling on. And I was really just wanting to talk about this whole deja vu thing, but that just led me into talking about this. I can't help it. I can't help it, y'all. You know how it is. If you have a subject of something that you really love and you're passionate about, it's hard not to talk about it, especially once you get started. Then you can just go on and on and on about it. So anyway, hopefully some of you listening have some kind of interest in bicycles, or maybe you did at one point so that you weren't too bored with that. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great Wednesday, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. So have a good one, everybody, and I will see y'all later.